Hi there, Terry back again. Hope I find you well. Welcome to my latest video. I would also like to thank the new subscribers and to all the people who comment on my videos. More please, it helps me with my day. Thumbs up and comments are good things. Right, as you see by the thumbnail, it's time for part 3 of Scalphunter. Beginning with number 62. Cover date December 79. And this cover, of course, is by Louis Dominguez. That's with a title of Images, written by Jerry Conway, Dick Ayres and Romeo Tangell with the pencils and inks, and Bob LaRose with the colours. The story opens with Scalphunter running across the roofs of an 1862 New York City, being chased by what's left of the Camorra gang. He manages to beat them and leaves them for dead. Later, he tours Matthew Brady's photo gallery and is shaken by photos of several thousand anti-TAM casualties, something that really happened in September of 1862. Scalphunter meets an ex-employee of Brady's who is establishing his own studio and gallery, named Rawson. He takes Ke-Woh-No-Tay's photo. When he sees the developed picture, he believes Rawson has stolen his soul. The next second, the door of the studio is kicked in and the two gunmen are there to steal the glass plates of what they believe are valuable photos. Well, they are to Rawson, but they are not the Brady ones they think they have. When they leave, Rawson asked Ke-Woh-No-Tay to follow them to get the plates back. He says he will pay him, because of the two gunmen can't read is why they stole from the wrong place. They take them back to the person that hired them. He is furious and smashes one of the plates. Scalphunter then appears. The three men make a dash for it. A lantern is turned over and starts a fire. Scalphunter is unable to save the plates, all except one, the one of him. He lets Rawson know he couldn't save them, and off he rides into the sunset. Number 63, January cover date. Louis Dominguez with the cover. The first thing I want to say about the cover, other than the artist, this is the first time, inside or out, that anyone has called him Scalphunter. I believe it's the last time as well, but I will let you know when I get to it. I will get to number 70. Title, The Trial of Batlash. Jerry Conway writing, Dick Ayres and Romeo Tangell with the art, and Bob LaRose with the colours. This is a pretty short synopsis. A man called William Wilson comes looking for Scalphunter, asking him if he will be a witness for Lash, as he has been accused of murdering Beauregard Smith when he and the Scalphunter had the altercation with the Gatling gun back in issue number 46. These pages aren't looking as nice and easy as I thought they were going to. Scalphunter agrees to help his friend and they head across the country by train and horse, encountering a few problems on the way. But of course, when they get to their destination, the seat of the Confederate government in Richmond, Virginia, and step into the courtroom, there's Batlash accusing Scalphunter of the murder. But I bet you guessed that. 64, February 1980. Covered Louis Dominguez. All creators as last issue, and the title could only be With Friends Like These. Of course, once in the military courtroom, Scalphunter tries to escape, but unlike last time, he doesn't succeed, and he is marched off to a military prison, ready for execution, of course. But Batlash has a plan, which, not before a few hiccups, he manages to talk his lady friend of the night to cause a disruption with the rest of her girls, and hopefully create enough disturbance for Batlash to free Scalphunter. Well, there is an issue 65, and it's not called Batlash. You get my meaning. Right, number 65, March cover date. Louis Dominguez with the cover. All creators as the last two issues. And the title this time is Children of the Storm. After parting ways with Batlash, and while evading Confederate soldiers during a storm, Scalphunter encountered a boy named Jesse and his grandfather, Jericho. After a conversation on the road, they part ways, but the Confederate soldiers have caught up. Thankfully, Jericho and Jesse return and save Scalphunter from a Lieutenant Healy. Healy has gone mad not being able to kill the Indian, and he threatens his men to death if they don't follow him, even though they are miles into enemy territory. Scalphunter and his new friends find shelter, but it's not long before the Confederates catch up. The storm is getting worse. Lightning strikes down, Scalphunter sets their horses free while they are ready to attack. Due to the raging weather, the horses trample all but two of the soldiers. Healy gets Scalphunter in his sights and shoots him, injuring Scalphunter in the leg. But Jericho gets in his way. There's a short fight and Jericho is shot and killed. Before Healy can finish Scalphunter, a lightning bolt hits his gun, and that's all they wrote. The other soldier, Sergeant Rawlins, just turns and walks away, leaving Scalphunter to care for the boy Jesse. Number 66, April 1980. Louis Dominguez again with the cover. The title, The Devil's Pay. It's written by Jerry Conway, pencils Dick Ayres and Romeo Tangell, and the colours by Jerry Serp. Scalphunter was able to take Jesse to the lad's relatives a few miles from where his grandfather was killed. Scalphunter headed for some medical help, but the pain and fever from the wound had him in a daze for 2 days. While he walked into the town, looking an easy mark, he's attacked by 3 thieves, believing he has money in his pouch. But they believe they've knocked him out. But when one of them gets close, Scalphunter stabs him with his hunting knife, and the other 2 round on him. Then the one that was stabbed goes for him again, but is shot by a woman as she is leaning out of her window. She tells them to go unless they want the same treatment. Scalphunter collapses. He awakes surrounded by several children, a doctor and the woman who saved him. Most of the rest of this tale is Scalphunter getting better and falling for Candace, the woman who saved him. Due to all of Candace's siblings and her help getting him back on his feet, he wants to repay them. The only work around is at a metal refinery making weapons for the war. This is where the family work for 5 cents a day. And as you can see by the cover, he doesn't get on well with these people, for a want of a better word, slavers. He wants to tear the place down, but Candace tells him this place is the only means to put food on the table, so destroying it would not help her or her siblings. All he can do is walk away. Then we have number 67, May 1980, Louis Dominguez with a cover. And its creators, as of last issue, other than Bob LaRose back to do the colouring. This issue was dedicated to director, screenwriter and actor John Huston, and this 2-part story is about greed. The Treasury of St Mary's. 3 somewhat foolish men hold up a hotel of all places, trying to steal money for buying tools, etc., to go looking for gold. Unfortunately, 2 of the fools come up against Scalphunter, not in the greatest of moods. The third one begs not to die and tells the story of the gold the hotel owner, Ke-Woh-No-Tay, has been working for, and someone who has befriended him, along with the fool. They leave the following day to find this treasure, many dollars worth of gold. When the fool finds the spot this treasure is supposed to be in, after a short time he finds a bag and another bag of gold coins. He of course is then killed by the man who befriended Scalphunter. Him and the hotel owner find more of this gold, and when they can lift no more, they go back to the horse and cart they came in, supposedly to kill Scalphunter, but he's not there. On the ride back, these 2 greedy men can't wait to get the upper hand and kill each other. Gold, it seems, does crazy things to people. All of this killing and shooting causes the horses to be scared, and then they are attacked by a pack of wolves. And Scalphunter scares off the wolves by firing an arrow into one of them. Then starts the 5-mile journey back to the town on foot, with a large bag of gold on his shoulder. Number 68, June 1980. Louis Dominguez again with the cover. Creators are all as of last issue. We have part 2 of our story now, and this one is titled Night Train to Nowhere. Scalphunter brings back the gold and gives it to the hotel owner's wife. She is firstly happy he is dead, he was a cruel and horrible man, but when the gold is placed on her table, you can see the greed in her eyes. She asks Ke-Woh-No-Tay if he will steal it from her. He looks at her with disdain and leaves. The hotel had a number of people that had been stranded by a train supposedly going the wrong way. Ke-Woh-No-Tay finds this to be a ploy of one of the passengers, but that person is not known yet. There are soldiers outside planning on stealing the train, whom Scalphunter overhears. He gets back to warn the people, who of course firstly don't believe him, until bullets are fired. The wife of the hotel owner comes out exclaiming, "Are they after my gold?" And just as bullets fly through a window, killing her. That gold has done no one any good. Scalphunter is probably thinking as he stands over her. Scalphunter devises a plan to get the people out to the train alive and get rid of the soldiers. That they want that train. Does he succeed? Well, there is an issue 69. So what do you think? And talking of number 69, here it is. July cover date. Louis Dominguez again with the cover. Creators as of last issue. And this is a 2-issue story. Scalphunter has been hired as a scout for 4 Union soldiers, a tentative lieutenant, a bully of a sergeant, and 2 wet behind the ears youngsters. He's been watching the comings and goings in a farmhouse. Cattle rustlers have stolen cattle and are waiting for a Confederate supply patrol to arrive. Not knowing they've been killed, and before they died they revealed information about the farmhouse. The Union soldiers are after the cattle. They raid the farmhouse and the bully sergeant takes pleasure in murdering them all. Scalphunter tries to stop the carnage but gets a smack in his mouth for his trouble. They find the cattle and then the sergeant, using the well-stoked fire, sets light to the building. The other men are disgusted but say nothing, apart from the Jace Garson, one of the youngsters. Scalphunter had previously found out that he was a woman. She throws up outside, as in she throws up outside. When they all get back to the Union camp with the cattle, they are quick to slaughter one of the herd and butcher it and cook it. The bully Sergeant Wilkes, walking across the grounds with his food, bumps into the Jace, but blames him or her and attempts to fight him or her. The Scalphunter intervenes and a fight breaks out. Looking like the bully has the upper hand, Jace attempts to pull Wilkes off of Scalphunter, but Wilkes sends him or her flying, and his or her cap flies off, revealing she is a woman. So now I won't have to do all that he and her business anymore, thankfully. Anyway, the bully sees this and can't believe his luck. She's a woman by the way. And number 70. Creators, same as last issue, and this is the last issue. A Cold Way to Die. The fight from the previous issue continues until Wilkes crashes hand first into a fire. He becomes scared and anxious of what has happened to his hand. This gives Scalphunter and Jace the opportunity to escape. They cross country as fast as they can on horseback, but Wilkes, now bandaged up, wants retribution, so him and several soldiers he orders to come with him. They eventually find them at an ice-making plant. Jace and Scalphunter have had a little time to set some traps, but ultimately Wilkes and Scalphunter get to fight again, and best man wins. Well, as I said, this is the last Weird Western Tales in this era, with Scalphunter. He does appear in short 8-page stories in Jonah Hex, Volume 1, number 40, 41, 45, 46 and 47. And when I do my next Hex videos, I will get to them. Other books he is found in are Justice League 198, January 92 cover date, cover by Ross Andrew and Romeo Tangell, I should say, and Jerry Conway was doing the writing. He is on the cover, as you can see, and he has 4 and a bit pages where he meets Elongated Man. And not on the cover of 199 from February 82, again Ross Andrew and Romeo Tangell with the cover, and again Jerry Conway writing. But he is a big part of this story. The last but one time we see him is in this issue of Starman, number 74, February 2001, covered by Andrew Robinson. The title, 1899, The Scalphunter Years. His death and the dying of it. It is written by James Robinson, art by Russ Heath, and colours by Gregory Wright. As you will guess, the title can tell a lot about a story, and this one certainly does. This story begins in, you guessed it, 1899. Brian Savage has given up his Scalphunter days and has become Sheriff of Opal City in the state of Maryland. And he's been doing this for a number of years now. He is of a mind to retire soon, and he ponders who will replace him amongst his staff. This story actually takes place on the 31st of December 1899, just a day away from the next century. There is a club in this town called the Tuesday Club, with a membership of the elite and powerful, and most of them have dirty little secrets, and some with very perverse hobbies. Their leader, a Mr. Arbuthnot, sits across from Brian in his plush home. There's been a lot of buying of property in a certain part of Opal City, but Brian is there for 3 people and businesses that won't sell. They have been threatened to either sell and move, or the consequences for not doing may be hazardous to their health. Brian is there to warn Arbuthnot not to take up on their threats. Of course, Arbuthnot denies any such threats. Brian leaves. A few hours later, Brian and one of his staff, Ke-Woh-No-Tay, come across 3 bodies hanging in a horse's stable. They were the 3 who held out, selling their businesses. Brian and Carney head off to the office to get together the rest of his men to make arrests of this Tuesday club. But they are attacked. Brian is horrified he didn't sense them. Is he getting old, he thinks? But he and Carney do get the upper hand and dispatch the 2 attackers and head to the office. They are just 20 steps away when the building explodes. They both are knocked down with the blast, but are not injured. They find the bodies of their colleagues. Carney says to Brian, "The Tuesday Club?" And Brian says, "Yes." "What are you going to do?" he asks. "Kill," Brian says. "Who?" "All of them." Brian goes to Arbuthnot first, forcing him to give names. He then goes on an all-out assault, finding them and dispatching them one by one. Unfortunately, there was one name Arbuthnot hadn't given. A new member called Jason Melville. He had hid, the coward that he is, when he had seen what had been going on throughout the city, or the town, whichever you like to call it. It was his dream to join this club. Now that dream was dying, or was dead as far as he knew. After Brian had dispatched the 57th person, and that's the 57th scalp, he went to City's bar and met Carney. And while they were talking, Jason Melville had come in and immediately shot Brian in the back. Melville had just enough time to say, "You took my dream, I took your honor," before Carney shot and killed him. Before Brian died, he revealed he had a son called Steve, out of town on Brian's farm. "Telling," were his final words. Ke-Woh-No-Tay became sheriff and then chief of police when they abolished the title of sheriff. Brian did believe he was coming back, though, and in a way he did. In this revamped, for one issue, Weird Western Tales 71, March 2010, the Blackest Night crossover event, Bill Sikowitz does the cover. I think that's the way you pronounce his name. He's on the cover along with these other Western stars, as you can see: Jonah Hex, Super Chief, Firehair, and Backlash, all who have appeared in Weird Western Tales at one time or another, and they're all resurrected from the grave. It's written by Dan Dido, art by Renato Arlam. He gets 4 frames in this story, bless him, and he's back as Scalphunter his Scalphunter persona. But then he is dispatched back from whence he came. Well, this one is a bit long, but I enjoyed that story from that Starman issue. I like telling it to you. And not because he died, it's just a story that needs reading. Well, if you could give me a thumbs up. Did you enjoy this last part? I did. Rereading them all to get the synopsis were great. Anyway, please comment, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you, and bye.